Let's move to the NBA, as you said, Rob. Kyrie Irving last night after they lost. They were up on Memphis, I think double figures going into the fourth quarter and still lost
that was
that
a bad
game.
one there,
Yeah, they got drubbed in the fourth quarter. But anyway, afterwards, Kyrie Irving addressed the Ja Morant. Now, Rob, Ja Morant was at that game. And one thing I liked, he was on the bench. I don't know if you saw any of it. But I liked that his body language, he was celebrating. He was like, it looked like he was being himself.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. Right.
Engaged.
Like, you don't want him coming back being hesitant, apprehensive.
Mopey.
Can I be, do I have to really, go within myself now? You want him to just be able to play free. And it looked like he might be able to do that. And if that's the case, they could really do some damage in the postseason. But anyway, Kyrie, of course, asked about Ja's situation. And here's what he said, Rob. I believe any hardship in life builds character. When you're dealing with particular hardships in the public eye, especially with the media being attracted to just keeping up with what we're doing or what's the next kind of grab or story, I don't want to assume anything by every media member, but that's just the way it seems for me and my perspective, which is there was an overload of judgment on Ja. There was an overload of judgment on what I had going on. Of course, he's talking about the whole anti-Semitic situation. And there's usually an overload of judgment from the public court of opinion. So, Rob, your thoughts on Kyrie's comments?
Kyrie, it kind of goes with the job. I mean, Chris, everybody, they wanted two different ways. You want to be a private person, but you want to have social media and tell people to buy your sneakers. And it just doesn't buy tickets to come out, buy my jersey, but I'm private.
Doing movies.
Right, but I'm private. Come on. And the other thing, too, Chris.
Well, and Rob, in fairness, and I know you agree with this, it's not like people are just digging for your personal life. I mean, these are things. Ja posted this.
Thank you
on his Instagram.
This wasn't unearthed in a bottom drawer, Chris, in his attic where somebody went in his house and dug up something. He did it. He did it. Yep. And Kyrie's thing was on his social media.
Right.
And somebody didn't find a piece of paper or bug his basement where he was hanging out. Exactly. Like, come on, man. I get it. But this is what you sign up for. Not just, you talk about it all the time. Not just athletes, politicians, police commissioners, mayors, anybody if you have a public job, Chris Broussard, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, Rob Parker. If you have a public job, people are going to respond to you that way. I'm sorry. No, that's what we sign up for. So I don't think his comments were like outrageous or anything, but I think sometimes it's just too easy to always act like the media doing something. Right. You can't always have that. Ja did that. He turned on Instagram Live for everybody to see. He did it.
Yeah. And
did anybody push back? And I didn't see was it in the press conference? Because, sometimes you just get a clip.
I don't think there was. I watched most of it, and I don't think there was pushback.
But just to say, Chris, like when he said that, I would have said, well, didn't he broadcast that live on IG? What does that have to do with the media? Or are we supposed to ignore that?
Well, to your point, Rob, it almost, and most of what Kyrie said was fine.
That's what I said.
I think what I disagree with is his usage of the phrase overload of judgment. And Rob, it kind of felt like like Kyrie's not really, and this is fine, but when you comment, you should, you need to know what's going on. It almost came out to me, Rob, like Kyrie really wasn't following the media coverage of Ja. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Ja got an overload of judgment. Like, I think it was very balanced. I think it was very compassionate, right? I mean, people Rob, Allen Iverson got more negative judgment for wearing a do-rag early in his career. Remember that? Rookie of the Year, he wears a do-rag to the awards, or having tattoos at that time. Like, I mean, Kyrie got more judgment for what he did a couple of months ago than Ja. Kyrie had to pay $500,000 to anti-violent charities or causes. He had to meet with Jewish leaders. He had to go to sensitivity training. Did Ja Morant have to sit down and learn about the terrible things that gun violence is wreaking in America, particularly in the black community? Did he have to meet with parents of children who've been shot, maybe even in stray bullets by, with gun violence? They didn't make him do any of that. And even though his suspension was 8 games and Kyrie's was 5, Rob, it felt like to me Kyrie's was longer because Ja's suspension was retroactive.
Well, but the other thing,
he had missed like 6 games when they announced, or 5 or 6 games when they announced the suspension. So it was like he's already was going to be out.
And I think the difference between Ja and Kyrie is Ja immediately accepted responsibility, and I think that gets the ball rolling for people. And I think Kyrie, Chris, we talked about it. If you were going to apologize, he could have done it way earlier. He could have done it in the very beginning, and he wouldn't have had any of that stuff. I don't believe he would have been suspended.
That is true.
Chris.
I agree with you.
Would you agree with me?
Yep.
If that day,
I think we said
when they asked him, he said, "Well, of course, I know the Holocaust happened, and people were killed, and I'm not endorsing it, and I took it down, and I made a mistake." And if I offended people, I didn't mean to do so. It would have been that. That was what people were looking for.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Yep. I agree. And for those out there, remember, Kyrie himself, because, a lot of brothers, he didn't have to apologize for that. Kyrie himself said there were things in that documentary, Hebrews, Negroes to Hebrews, or Hebrews to Negroes, that he did not agree with.
Right.
Those are the things he was asked to apologize about. And those are the things he ultimately did apologize about. Nobody was asking him to apologize for saying there were African-American or African Jews.
Exactly. That wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think Ja. Do you think Ja got like an overload of judgment and criticism?
I don't, because there was more stuff out there about him, Chris.
Right.
That nobody talked about. That really was like it was under the surface, but nobody was ripping him. Nobody was talking about that stuff. And then all these things came out.
Some people have wondered, 2 weeks away or whatever he was from the team, is that really going to be enough? Look, if he's really got an alcohol problem, that's obviously not enough. But he might just be a guy that drinks to party. And I think, Rob, that's why a lot of people let it go. Like maybe his family, the Grizzlies, because they're like, oh, he likes to drink. He likes to party. But look, he's great on the court. It hadn't hurt him. He's normal, all that. But if that's the case, I think this could be enough and it could be a wake-up call for him. And Rob, like I've said a few times, it don't take rehab to stop playing with guns.
Yep.
And post it on social media. It don't take rehab to not jump, at least allegedly, jump a 17-year-old at your house.
Exactly.
And you and your boy be.
But you know what? That was
just stop.
That was the one thing that I thought was missing in and I know we're gonna 877-99 on Fox. The Jalen, that he didn't even address alcohol being involved. Like I would have asked that question. Like,
he posted again, social media, Rob. Ja posted it all over social media.
Right.
Him drinking and stuff.
Do you know what I'm saying, Chris? I would have asked that. Yeah. Was alcohol involved in you going live? Like, was your judgment lapsed? I mean, I think that's a fair question.
What are you in rehab for?
Right.
Are you there for alcohol? Are you there for drugs? Or what?
I would have asked that question. I think that question needed to be asked. And for him, he could just say he doesn't want to answer it or whatever, but it needs to be asked, and it wasn't. All right.